Hi everyone, welcome to Nightfall Drives. Doug here, and today I've been lucky enough to experience David's 1948 MGTC. In response to some feedback, I'm going to split this into two videos. So you may have seen the owner story video, which is the usual type of video that I do. I tried to cut that down a little bit, and then this video is all about the more technical stuff that we get into. So if you're more interested in the technical side, stick around. If not, check out the owner story, more about how David uses the car. But yeah, it's been a lovely morning out here in the MG, and hope you enjoy the videos. And so then from a more technical point of view, you can obviously see everything here, and it's quite easy to access, I guess. You mind just telling us about what sort of work you've been doing on it?
Well, I've obviously cleaned the engine and mechanically gone through everything, re-greased it, repainted it, re-cleaned it up, have a clean engine so you can see where any oil's leaking. It's got cart springs on all four corners, and they have dampers and not shock absorbers.
Yeah.
And that's basically to stop the cart springs from bouncing a lot. Again, I said the body was in pretty good shape, but mechanically I've been thoroughly through everything, adjusting the clutch, making sure that the steering geometry is correct, making sure all the tracking is all correct. Had a lot of help from a lot of people, been onto forums, which has guided me an awful lot. Looked at all the websites from America and looked at each individual website of how to do upholstery, how to check and adjust the door hinges, how to fit the wings. Literally, someone somewhere has done something on these cars in the last 75 years.
Yeah, and I suppose the good thing is a lot of that, it sounds like it's information that's out there. You just have to know where to look.
Yeah, there are forums specifically for MGTCs, but as I said before, there's model MGTAs, MGTBs, which was during the war, TCs and TDs, and that's when the change happened. The model after this in 1950, when rack and pinion steering came in and different geometry for suspension. But I've learned an awful lot from other people, like friends in Lichfield, Chris Hallard, that's helped me. We bought the car, similar car at the same time, and we bounced off of each other. I've gone to MG car clubs, I've gone to MGB, Natura's meetings, etc. And some of the old fellas have given me all the ideas of what to do and what not to do. But you know, it's my car, and it's styled in the way I drive it. So
yeah. And so I suppose what are the key things you'd recommend to somebody working on one of these, the key jobs?
Most people who have bought these are either mechanically minded and they don't mind taking items apart and rebuilding them. There's not a lot that you can't get for these. Someone somewhere, either in America or, as I said, Brown & Gammons can get it for you. Things that you can't get are radiator shells, etc. Some of the headlights and lenses. But literally an awful lot of parts, right down to the body kit, which is a complete wooden frame body inside. This was replaced in 2014 by the previous owner. So again, I would say look for a strong car, look for one that's a tidy body. You don't want to start welding one of these cars because it'll never stop. Mechanically, I'm fine, so I didn't matter how tired it was. I took everything apart, cleaned it all out, took the old grease out. What I couldn't do, I took to specialists. Other people would guide me, like for the dampers and brakes and so forth. But again, it's whatever you want out of the car. You want to drive it. It's not what they call a trailer queen. I drive it everywhere, 1,500 miles a year. I belong to a local classic car club, and again, they've all got different models, but the same idea, the same ideology on looking after cars. I've always been mechanically minded, so I've always wanted a car of this era. Hopefully I keep it a long time, but the car talks to me, so.
Yeah.
This is developed from the 30s, this car.
Yeah, because it was designed back then, and then obviously forced production to the war, and it kept going till, is it 49, something like that?
People don't realise to buy a car 1940 to 1946 is very rare. They were making tanks.
Yeah.
So doing their work for the war effort, so that's where all their effort went on, and so did the MG factory at Abingdon.
Yeah.
They made parts for the war, so cars didn't get made again until 1945, which is pretty quick, 1 year after the war. So
Yeah.
model MGTCs are 1945 to 1949.
Yeah.
So you'll be developing the next car from the success of the TC. So when they started to develop the TD, it was launched in 1950.
And look very similar to this.
Very, very similar, slightly wider, but it has rack and pinion steering,
Yeah,
bumpers. They changed the layout of the dashboard. Quite a few different suspension things, head springs. I think they still had cart springs on the back, but a lot of modern attributes, which the Americans had requested.
Yeah.
Not just the Americans, but
Yeah.
that's how modern technology was moving.
Yeah. Did that one have a fuel gauge?
No, there's no fuel gauge on here. I have a piece of stick that's marked in increments
Yeah.
to dip into the tank. Fortunately, I have in a 1948 temperature gauge, which you could buy as an option with a dual temperature gauge with the oil gauge. But to be truthful, all I'm looking at is the oil pressure, temperature, revs. I'm not worried about the speed. I'm never going to break the speed limit unless it's 30 miles an hour, but why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
And it's becoming more difficult with fuels, etc. You have to change all the rubbers for all the petrol carburetors.
Yeah, I suppose.
E5 petrol, E10 petrol.
Yeah, so even well, E10 is obviously a bit of a you have to change a lot, like you say.
Yeah, I use E5. I use Texaco fuel, which is 99 octane.
Yeah.
So it's still the highest octane, but I use a lead additive. So
Yeah.
I haven't changed the valve stems and the valve seats. I don't drive the car that hard
Yeah.
to warrant any problems, but I've had to change all the rubbers and all the carburetor fittings to ensure that I've not got old rubber.
Yeah. Yeah.
And storing the car over winter time, you would drain the fuel tank because E5 petrol tends to solidify a little bit and go a bit jelly, so
Yeah.
you try and look after the car as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, hopefully we can keep these things going for a number of years to come with things like synthetic fuels. I think you can actually buy e-fuel now from a classic dealer, I believe.
Yeah, well, I think Sebastian Vettel's invested his time in ensuring that they use synthetic fuels grown from flour or sunflower, etc. I think that's probably, personally, the best way to go than electric cars.
Yeah, I think the infrastructure's obviously already there for liquid fuel.
And more people can grow product than actually grow batteries. So what do you do with the batteries when they're 10 years old or beyond their life?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe 3/4 of the cost of the car.
Yeah. There's many different ways to produce it now with chemical processes that use or don't use biomass, and it's quite exciting. I think that there's a future.
I think that's the better way to go. Look at all the ground and all the land we've got to grow.
Yeah.
The type of sunflower seeds or sunflower oil or whatever biofuel you can grow. It's a lot more available for many more countries.
And they're
making electric batteries.
Yeah, there's a huge potential there, and they're making it drop in as well. So I don't think you need to worry about the same things with E10. So yeah, that's hopefully where we're going.
I think petroleum will be around for many, many more years because there's billions of cars still out on the road, not just old cars like this. What do you do with all the billions of cars that are out there now? And scooters and motorbikes, and so fortunately I won't have to worry in my lifetime. But electric is a good idea. I'm not saying it's not good for the environment, but there are alternatives.
Other ways,
I have the original records of the engine number, which is different from an engine number now, but well, I would expect that 75 years. It's the same type of engine. It's the same model of engine, but it's a different serial number.